Well, good morning and welcome. I'm Vince Desatel, County Agent in Evangeline, St. Landry Parish. I'm going to give you an update for our Beef Brunch News Update series that we continue to do every other week. Today is July 25th, Tuesday, July 25th. Along with me is Lee Falk in the Northwest region of the state. Uh, Lee's the county agent up there and works out of the Hill Farm Research Station, and he'll give us an update for the northern part of Louisiana and his region in general. Um, so in the central Louisiana area, we fortunately been getting a few rain showers since about July the 4th. I think we started getting some pretty consistent rain showers for a 5 or 6 7 day period, and kind of high pressure sat on us, and we got hot and dry again. Um, But the last couple of weeks we've had some significant rain showers. We had this what they call a cold front coming down Saturday morning, Saturday afternoon, and we got an inch of rain in some spots. So that was very very much needed for all cropping areas, not only our cattle pastures and hay meadows, but most of our cropping area needed some rain. Uh, some crops didn't need rain. They're starting to harvest a little corn and some rice in South Louisiana. So those guys need a good stretch of weather with hot and dry weather. I think they're going to have that this week. So they'll be able to make some good headway on harvesting efforts this week. Um, as far as the cattle reports in our general region, we got a lot of people that are waiting to make hay. We had the drier conditions prior to that July 4th weekend. We didn't have a lot of accelerated growth in our hay fields and also our pastures, but we've got those rains that I talked of earlier, and we're starting to see a big change. A lot of folks have pulled their bulls out from their breeding season, staging those bulls, and we always recommend put those bulls up close to your headquarters where you can put an eye on them morning and night, as they are a valuable part of our breeding programs throughout our cow calf operation throughout the state. So we don't have to talk about the markets too much. We know they're still high, and I'm sure Lee will touch on that some. Um, so we want to make sure those bulls are well cared for and keep the flies off of them as much as possible, and make sure they got plenty of shade and plenty fresh drinking water. I think for the most part, there's not much cow working going on right now. It's just terribly too hot to consider doing anything at this point in time. The next thing we're looking at is getting some hay made, and getting some winter grazing grounds prepared to seeding. So we're pushing on August 1st here before too long, and before we know it, we'll be into September and looking to get some ryegrass and maybe some clovers and what have you planted for our winter grazing period. Speaking of some of our summer and early fall pests, Lee and I were visiting before we started the update about armyworms. There is um, some updates from other agents in the area that we are starting to see an outbreak of armyworm pressure in some areas. So we want to make sure that everyone's aware of that, and you might want to have that insecticide on hand as we continue to maybe get some of these rains, that lush green growth that we're getting some of our hay fields, whether it be Bermuda or Bahia. We could see an uptick in the population of armyworms. So we want to be prepared to take care of those problems as they come about. So with that being said, I'm sure Lee's going to cover the market. I know in South Louisiana, there's still a lot of optimism. Non-productive cows and bulls that need to go to the sale barn. It's time to get them there. We've been saying this week after week, but it's still strong. So if you have some non-productive cows or bulls that you need to trade out, it's still a fairly enticing market to want to part with those. If you know you're going to be trading some bulls out this fall and this winter, as these bull sales start up, go ahead and take that plunge into it, because I don't think you'll be real sorry if you got a dollar 20 bull sitting at home, not going to be doing anything from this point forward. It's probably time to part with them. Good killing cows are still dollar plus on those high yielding cows. So you want to take advantage of those markets. So Lee, that's about all I have at this point in time. You can go ahead and take it over from here.
Thank you, Vince. Well, I'm sure that you all have noticed that don't have any video today, I can tell you on my part that's not a bad thing for sure. To may actually increase your viewing experience there, not having a video of me. Um, Glad to be with you all here today and to visit just a little bit about what's going on in the cattle business, especially up in our corner of the world, up in northern Louisiana, northwest Louisiana, and whatnot. Hot and dry is the two words that best describe it right now. Being saluted to the cold front that moved through, it has dropped the humidity levels quite a bit, but unfortunately, we missed out on, for the most part, for the rain. There was a little bit of hit and miss rain as the front moved through kind of early in the afternoon on Saturday, but it wasn't widespread for sure. Whenever you pull up the National Drought Monitor, it's very quick to see that portions of our area in North Louisiana, um, parts of Natchitoches, Sabine, DeSoto, Bienville, Red River parishes along our kind of southern border, bordering on central Louisiana almost, are well on their way to a pretty significant drought. Joshua Sally, county agent there in DeSoto Parish, has reported that the southern DeSoto parishes is quite dry. They had a bad drought last year and had some improvement moving forward into this summer, but it kind of looking like they're headed back in kind of the same direction as far as that goes. Still a ton of grass out in the grazing pastures. We've been able to grow a significant amount of grass in the last couple of months with the rainfalls that we have been blessed with. Talked to a lot of folks that have been making some hay. I can report even personally that the hay yields have been through the roof in the last month or so. Um, Most everybody had kind of below normal yields on that first cutting, and now it looks like this second cutting has been above average. So that's always a good thing as far as that goes. Um, the forecast up this way is it's not good though, folks. It's 90 high 90s, even some weather forecasting, some meteorologists calling up to 100 degrees. So yes, it's not a good scenario for us. The good thing though is, like I said, that humidity has dropped a little bit. There for the span of about 7, 8 days, 9 days in the last week, 2 weeks. So it was just absolutely miserable up in our corner of the world, and I'm sure it wasn't too pleasant in Vince's part either. Um, but the humidity and the heat, it just it was hard on man and beast both, and the cattle were suffering quite a bit. Still a lot of fly pressure on the cattle, and people continue to search for solutions. I would say that flies may be a slight drop, but that's an ever so slight drop in the last 2 weeks or so. So people continue to retreat for flies when possible. Same as in South Louisiana, there's no cattle working going on unless it's some special case. Most of the pinning that's going on now is related to shipping cattle, either cattle that were sold on video back a month or two ago, or cattle that people are trying to pull off. Maybe some winter born calves that people are trying to rush the market. There's a lot of cattle being shipped right now, but it's one of those kind of scenarios where you better have you be out in the field and ready to pin cattle whenever you can see them first light, and be done by about 10 o'clock or 11 o'clock at the latest, because fool around and get some cattle too hot in weather like this, and get yourself too hot in conditions such as these. Um, we're finding a lot of calves being pulled forward to sale, and that's due to the market conditions right now. Like Vince alluded to, there continues to be quite a positive outlook on the markets. I find more producers asking the same question: How long will it last? How long will it last? And frankly, folks, I don't have an answer to that. I can tell you that whenever you're trying to gauge a market, particularly this market, you're looking at a couple of different factors. We know that the reason why we're in the shape we're in as far as calf prices and you know, cull cow and bull prices as well is because of the size of the nation's cow herd. Lowest number of beef cattle since 1962. That was according to the January USDA National Cattle Inventory Report. There's another one that's going to be hitting towards the end of this month, towards the end of July. It's going to be interesting to see. A lot of the forecasts show that it's going to contract a little bit further. Um, a lot of the market analysts that have paid a whole lot more money than I am see that the trend of contraction is easing a little bit and that we're going to start cycling towards rebuilding. Frankly, folks, I haven't seen it. I haven't seen it based on the number of heifers that are being marketed, either placed on feed or being sold at local sale barns. The other factor that I haven't seen yet that would indicate we're rebuilding this herd is a drop in the number of cull cows being sold. Frankly, I haven't seen that either. Continue to hear reports from across the country of just these absolutely huge numbers of cull cows being sold. You know, small sale barns that normally run around 1,000 head and having upwards of 400 or 500 head of cull cows by themselves. So um, it's going to be interesting to see what that inventory report it is going to say. I'm not going to give an estimate as to how long I think the market will be good because a whole lot can change real quickly. We've seen it happen time and time again. We saw it happen in 2019 at that Tyson beef plant fire in Hopeland, Kansas. We saw the market turn on a dime on that, and of course during the pandemic we saw it as well. So anybody that tells you for sure with certainty how long the market's going to last in a number of months, they either have a crystal ball or they're a lot better at it than I am. With that being said, I'm going to kind of give y'all the Louisiana market reports and feel like I always have to provide a disclaimer on this. These are self-reported numbers, folks. And I always tell you how confident I am in the numbers. Last time I gave one this market report, I was fairly high in my confidence because of the number of barns that were reporting. Well, this week I don't not quite so confident. Had several that posted some market reports and whatnot that I was able to access, but not all of them by a long shot. So I'll give you what the average of the ranges and some high quotes. You can take that information as you see fit. So on all this information, by the way, is for last week. 5 to 6 weight steers, average of ranges $1.42 per pound to $2.46 per pound. On the heifer mates for those steers, 5 to 6 weight heifers, $1.48 to $2.32 per pound. Cull cows, low of 69 cents and a high of $1.12. 92 cents on the cull bulls up to $1.24. But bred cows, folks, this is really telling right here. Low price, low average of $466 per head, all the way up to $1,700 per head. Pair cattle, $758, all the way up to $1,900. Top quote on pairs, and I didn't share top quotes in each category. I apologize for that, but top quote on pairs was $2,400 per pair. I've been saying the past few months, folks, that you know, the replacement cows, the stocker type cows, I think are still a bargain. And I think they still are, even despite the prices I reported today. I still think there are some bargains to be had on the replacement cows. Of course, I'm not sitting at all these sale barns watching these cows come through. It could be a string of really good cows. That $2,400 pair that sold, I feel like that was probably a pretty decent type pair. Alternatively, there was a pair that sold for $758. And so, you know, quality is king, and that drives the price on these replacement cows. But what I'm driving towards is the fact that these replacement cows, I think, are still reasonably priced especially whenever you compare them to what these cow cows and these calves and yearlings are bringing right now. So now's the time if you've got some grass. I think that you can make some well-informed buying decisions right now and try to add a few cows if you need to, without it just absolutely breaking the bank as far as that goes. Dr. Edwards is not with us today to give a full market report as far as on the nationwide. I will share with you just a little bit on the future, on the August futures right now, and as of the time of recording. Feeder cattle futures are trading in the 243 range. Live cattle are trading around 178, and that price is a little lower than open. It's too early in the week yet to see if we're developing a trend on this. I can tell you that the corn market has weighed heavily on the futures prices. It has yet to, in my opinion, affect the cash prices, what we're seeing for these cattle out in the country at sale barns, or what people are paying for them, just out in the country. But it is weighed pretty heavy on the futures market. A lot of uncertainty as far as corn goes, and of course we know that corn is a major part of these rations. Is what we feed these cattle, and cost of gains at the feedlot is what drives the price that you're going to get on your calves or yearlings at the local sale barn, of course. So with that, that's all that I have for today. Vince, I think you're going to mention something about the field day at Dean Lee.
Yeah, Lee, I just wanted to mention that our annual Beef and Forage Field Day at Dean Lee is going to be held September the 14th. We'll start registration around 2 or 2:30 with field tours following, and an inside program, and also a meal to provide to people. So if you know you want to come, please contact us. I'm sure at some point soon we'll put a link where you can do that, but I just wanted to put it out there as a reminder that is coming up. I know it's a little ways off, but we will continue to remind you as we move forward, and any other events that we might have coming up here on this news update. Thank you, Lee.
Hey, Vince, I do want to mention as well, while I don't have the exact date, we've talked about in past news updates, the Northeast Region Beef and Forage Field Day will be coming up in September as well. And so I'm sure that Dr. Edwards will post a link to that as well, to the flyer when it becomes available and everything. So that being said, that's all I have. Vince, you got anything else?
No, that's all I've got, Lee. And all I will say is, if you're intending on some winter forages, please state your intentions known to whoever you deal with as far as seed, what seed you're going to be needing, as ordering things are still more or less delayed. So you want to make sure that you have your seed intentions known to whoever you deal with, whether it's ryegrass, wheat, and or oats, and any of the clover varieties that are available to us, because it may be a challenge getting some of that some of those products in. So please state your intentions as soon as you know what you're going to do to your dealer as far as your ag products. And again, I'm told that ryegrass seed may be a little short this year, so you might want to go ahead and book your seed intentions when you know what your intentions are. So just FYI on all those things. So thank you, Lee.
I'll just tag on to what Vince said real quickly. I meant to say something about that as well. I visited with a seed company that sells a lot of seed up in northern Louisiana for winter foraging, and they're booking ryegrass seed right now. So Vince is very timely advice there. Definitely get on it, and do expect a couple dollar a bag increase in what the ryegrass seed, at least. I hadn't heard any quotes on clover or oats or wheat or anything like that. But on the ryegrass seed in particular, it was a couple dollar a bag increase. Wasn't as much as what I thought it was going to be, but it did increase in price a little bit. It's just so critical, especially if you're ordering in quantity, to book that seed with your dealer so that you can take advantage of the best price possible. That's all I have, Vince. I'm gonna shut up.
All right. Thanks everyone for joining us this week. And if you have any questions, feel free to contact Lee or I or Ashley. We'll try to reach out and make sure that we cover all your concerns moving forward. If you have questions about seeding rates or fertilizer options, that sort of thing, we would hope that we could help you make some decisions and save you a few dollars moving forward. As fertilizer prices have softened some, fuel prices are not where they were 2 years ago and last year even, but seed costs are up. So we want to make sure that you make some good decisions as far as seeding rates and planning at an appropriate time. Try to stay away from that late run of armyworms, which I've seen that happen up until Thanksgiving time. So it's never a perfect timing, it seems like, but hopefully if we can help you make a decision, that's what we're here for. So thank y'all for tuning in, and we'll see y'all in 2 weeks.